Good day, people. I'm Hira Deepika. In Ponniyin Selvan, this is episode number 3. Arvarkadiyan asked Vandiyadevan, Thambi, which way are you going? Perhaps if you were planning to stay at the fort of Kadambur Sambuvarayar, I have an assignment to be done there. Vandiyadevan was dumbstruck and asked, What? Do you know magic or witchcraft? How did you know that I was going to Kadambur Palace? What is so surprising about it? Tonight, several dignitaries from various places are going there. Paruvettarayar and his retainers are also going there. The elephant, the horses, liveried footmen, and other honors were from Kadambur. They came to receive Paruvettarayar. All such protocols are always observed wherever he goes, said Arvarkadiyan. He asked Vandiyadevan, Thambi, will you do me a favor? Can you please take me along to Kadambur fort tonight? Why? Are you going there to debate about the greatness of Shiva and Thirumal to conclude who is the greater god? No. Did you think debating was my only occupation? Tonight there will be a lavish banquet at Kadambur. After the feast, there would be several entertainments like music, miracle plays, gypsy dancers, and mystic oracles. I wish to see the gypsy dance and hear the oracle. Please take me along with you, saying that I'm your servant. Vandiyadevan's earlier doubts about Arvarkadiyan were confirmed. Find someone else for such deception and fraudulent activities. I don't need a servant like you. I doubt if they would even let me into the fort tonight. Aha, that means you're not going to Kadambur upon invitation. Well, I have an invitation of sort. Kandamaran, son of Sambuvarayar, is my close friend. He has invited me several times to come and stay at his palace if I come to these parts, replied Vandiyadevan. Both of them kept walking and reached the Vinnagara temple. As it was Adi Perukku and the day of Saint Andal, the temple was crowded and was in a festive mode. Now let's listen to the history of this Vinnagara temple. Parandaka Chola first, the grandson of Vijayalaya Chola, was the monarch who established the foundations of the Chola Empire. He achieved his historical fame because he covered the roof of the temple at Chidambaram with gold. During Parandaga's times, he expected the Rashtrakutas in the north to come for an invasion on Tamil territories. Therefore, he stationed a huge army led by his eldest son, Prince Raja Aditya, in the Tirumunaipadi territories north of the Kaveri. Prince Raja Aditya had a brilliant idea while his large number of soldiers waited in idleness. Enormous quantities of flood waters flowing in the Kolidam river were going wastefully into the sea. Wishing to make use of these waters, he made his soldiers build a huge reservoir benefiting the people. He then established the town Veeranarayanapuram on its shores and also built a Vinnagara temple. Lord Vishnu reclines upon the primeval waters in sublime meditation. Therefore, it was customary in those days to build Vinnagaras on lake shores so that the deity would protect the reservoir. It was to this temple that Vandiyadevan went in Arvarkadiyan's company. Alvarkadiyan began singing a few verses by Andal and Nammalvar with tears overflowing from his eyes. Everyone in the sanctorium listened to the songs with interest. Vandiyadevan too listened attentively, and his biased opinions about Alvarkadiyan were somewhat transformed. Once they were out of the temple, Vandiyadevan asked Alvarkadiyan to forgive him if any of his acts had annoyed him. Alvarkadiyan in turn asked for another help to Vandiyadevan. If Vandiyadevan happens to stay at Kadambur fort, Alvarkadiyan requested him to find an appropriate time and deliver a small note to the lady who was in the closed palanquin behind Elder Paruvettarayar's elephant. Vandiyadevan strongly disagreed. He immediately jumped onto his horse and began galloping towards Kadambur. The horse had by now rested, and within a few hours it reached the gates of Kadambur. Sengannan Sambhuvarayar was an important Chola nobleman. His castle gates resembled the entrance of a large city. A number of elephants, horses, bullocks, men to feed and water them, and men to light torches were standing near the gates. Citing all the bustling activities, Vandiyadevan understood that there was something special taking place. For a minute, he resented to have come there, but the next minute he felt an overpowering urge to find out about the special occasion. The fortress gates were wide open, although men holding long lances stood near the gates. Vandiyadevan decided the best thing to do would be to ride boldly, go in without any hesitation, and so rode in. But as soon as the horse neared the gates, the guards held on to the horse's reins and questioned him. Vandiyadevan spoke furiously to the guards as he was stopped. Thiruvallam in the Vanagapadi kingdom is my town. Once upon a time, soldiers in your country were proud to tattoo the names of my ancestors on their chests. I am Vallavarayan Vandiyadevan. One of the gatekeepers mocked at him for not bringing a liveried herald to announce about him and said, "Whoever you are, you cannot enter. All the expected guests have already arrived. The master's orders are to not let in anyone after that." On hearing the noise, some footmen who were standing nearby came closer. Vallavarayan thought, why get involved? Perhaps I should show the token bearing the seal of Prince Aditya Karigala and go in. The token bearers were the representatives of the kings or noblemen, and the officials in the kingdom were to facilitate the token bearers' tasks without causing any hindrance. Vandiyadevan decided his course of action and told the guardmen to let go of the horse's reins as he was returning back. The gatekeepers let go of the reins. Vandiyadevan applied a sudden pressure to the underbelly of his horse with both of his legs. He drew his sword from his waist and galloped forward into the fortress. The men in their way seemed to fall down. Suddenly, the drums announcing the danger was boomed. Around 50 men surrounded Vandiyadevan and his horse. Vandiyadevan jumped down to the ground and shouted, "Kandamara, your men are killing me." Hearing his words, the men were stunned into hesitation and moved away a little. At the same time, Sengan and Sambhavarayar noticed the chaos at the gates. He told his son Kandamaran to find out about the commotion. Kandamaran hurried to the gates. As soon as he noticed his friend, he ran towards Vandiyadevan and embraced him. Kandamaran shouted at the guards for blocking Vandiyadevan. Kandamara, what is all this hustle and bustle about? What is happening here today? Asked Vandiyadevan. Oh, I'll explain what's happening here afterwards. Do you remember the days when you and I were at the army garrison near the Pennar River? Do you remember your wishes to meet Paruvetarayar, Malavarayar, and other noblemen of the small kingdoms? You can meet them all here tonight, said Kandamaran. He then took his friend up to the upper chambers where the guests were seated and introduced him to his father, Sambhavarayar. Sambhavarayar did not seem too happy about it. Is he the fellow who created all the disturbance at the palace gates below? He need not have arrived in this sensational manner today of all days, and that too in hours after darkness. Kandamaran frowned. He did not wish to continue the debate with his father. He led Vandiyadevan to Paruvetarayar, who was seated amidst the other guests, and introduced him. The two friends then left to meet his mother at her inner chambers. Several women were gathered there. Vandiyadevan greeted Kandamaran's mother and sister. His eyes frantically searched among those women to find the lady who had come in the closed palanquin with Paruvetarayar. Who was the lady in the closed palanquin with Paruvetarayar? Let's catch up on that in the next episode. Thank you.